Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Kaito here, and welcome back to another. I think we're in part four of this. Um, why I love Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest. I think this is part four or part five. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure. I know it's not part three. Anyways, okay. So a little bit of a summary where we left off. I know I haven't recorded in a while because I was doing my test streams. You probably saw that. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But I was testing out my capture card and it's working. The only thing that's not working is my mic, and I gotta figure that out. But anyways, to recap what I was talking about, the last thing I was talking about was Volume Four, where Hajime saved Kaori and the hero and his party. And at the end, I was talking about how um, Koki or whatever his name is, the hero, how he was basically trying to get Hajime's harem to join him, and using his charms, and pretty much embarrassing himself to the point where he challenged Hajime to a fight, and if he wins, the girls go with him. And I don't think he even gave a condition for Hajime if he won, because he just started. I guess he was just so arrogant that he was gonna win, so he charged, and then he got his butt handed to him. Why am I coughing a lot? Well, I know why. I was running around a few minutes ago, but anyways, um, so and I was talking about how I was gonna say yesterday, but it wasn't yesterday. On the last part, I was talking about um how Shizu. Let me get her name right. Shizuru. Is that how you say her name? I'm pretty sure I just called her Shizu. Shizuku. Okay, yeah, her Shizu for short. Shizuku was taunting Hajime like, if you hurt Kaori in any way, I'll use my hero powers to give you like a super edge lord name, and that'll stick with you. And it was like edge lord destructant. It's just like a whole bunch of embarrassing names. To the point where Hajime fell on his knees and he was saying how, she is the worst boss. She's the worst thing he's ever faced than anything in the labyrinth could ever produce. And I think that's pretty much where I left off because I was in a hurry because my time limit was running out. So I'll go into a little explanation. And it's either at the end of Volume 4 or Volume 5, and I should probably get Volume 5 out. But it was towards the end of one of these. Oh, look. Shizu. Okay, so since Shizu's there, we'll change this. That's so we don't have two Shizus. Okay, so it's either at the end of Volume 4 or somewhere in Volume 5 where Kaori's talking about it's either Kaori talking about it or Shizu talking about it or thinking about it. But back in Japan, okay, hold up, I'm thinking too fast. Okay, so um, Kaori loved Hajime back in Japan. She actually fell in love with them back when they were in middle school, but they didn't attend the same middle school. So what happened was, and I explained this a little bit, there were like some Yankee kind of guys, some delinquents that this little boy and his grandma like ran into, and the boy dropped some ice cream on them, and the delinquents were like trying to extort money from them. And Hajime, just he did the goza. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm pretty sure. But the goza, where you put your hands right there and your head on the ground and start begging for like forgiveness and stuff like that. And Hajime did it to the point where it embarrassed the delinquents, so they left. And Kaori witnessed it, and that's when she kind of started falling in love with him, and to the point where she figured out where Hajime was attending middle school. And she waited. I think even Shizu was with Kaori some of these days, where they were waiting for Hajime like at the end of the school, so she could talk with him. But he like never showed up. And this is going off by memory, so if I'm probably missing some stuff, so don't quote me until I do reviews of these specific light novels. But they ended up reconnecting in high school. I think it was not Shizu, but I think it was Kaori who turned around and saw Hajime sleeping in the back of, like when they had like the assembly in the beginning. Kaori saw him and she was happy, and then I think Hajime's in second grade, in not second grade, in the second year of high school. So I think it's in the first year they weren't together, and the second year they were together. I'm not, again, don't quote me on this. I don't remember. But anyways, um, so Kaori will go out of her way to like start trying to talk with Hajime and get to know him little by little. And she started like listening to his hobbies and getting like she wanted to have something to talk to Hajime about. So when she found out Hajime was an otaku, what Kaori would do was she after school with Shizu, they'll go after school they'll go to like an anime store and they'll like just start renting manga or renting or buying, I don't remember, either or, video games. Like, oh, Hajime talked about this video game, so she bought it to play it. Animes that he mentioned she'll watch with Shizu. They'll read mangas together, they'll read light novels, like basically Kaori was just going out of her way to get involved in Hajime's hobbies, and that she brung Shizu along with her. So that's why both of them know about Gundams. Again, I talked about how both Kaori and Shizu were talking about the crossbits, how they were like a reference to the new type of the bits that the Gundam uses, like from, is it Z Gundam, Zeta Gundam? That one of the new types use. The little homing beacon things. I forget what they're called because I didn't watch. I did watch, but I don't remember much of the earlier Gundams, and I haven't watched any of the new ones. But anyways, so both of them like saying like, oh, these are like new types and like that. And Hajime was like, how do they know about Gundams? So he was kind of shocked, but that's how they knew that Kaori really loved Hajime, that she wanted to get into his hobby, which I admire. That's why personally for me, I like Kaori more than the other girls, just because Kaori's like that type of girl that you kind of want, right? So like a girl that's interested in your hobbies, not just like, hey, I just like you, and hey, I like you, what are your hobbies? You keep your hobbies, I keep my hobbies, or maybe like we'll get interested in each other's hobbies little by little. Kaori went in there. She wanted to have the same. She wanted to have something to talk to Hajime about, so she went out there and she got anime, she got manga, she got games. So she'll be with Hajime. And there was actually an incident where Kaori almost bought is an A-rated, I guess you will say in the States here, no, but an H game, I think. It's in Japan, an H game. She was so embarrassed that she almost bought one because, I think Hajime talked about it and she's like, oh, hey, this, and then like, that's an H game. And she's like, oh my gosh. But anyways, okay. So that clears up pretty much what I was talking about last time. And that's why Shizu knows the weakness of an otaku. The edgelord and the cringy names and titles and all this stuff. So that explains why Shizu knows all those. How those will strike Hajime at his core, So Hajime is really afraid of Shizu. So anyways, if you've seen season 2 of Arifureta, I've said this before in the beginning, but I'll say it again. Sorry. I don't mean to cough like that to the point where I'm almost throwing up. But season 2 covers these 2 light novels, which is which is better pacing than the first season that covered 4 light novels. But anyways, okay, so if you've seen the anime of season 2, it's pretty much the same thing. With Kaori in tow, they go through the desert in his car that has air conditioner. Kaori's talking to Miyu how she wants to be called Mama, but she can't, and then like she's trying to cling to Hajime. Her and Yue fighting about who loves Hajime more. Kaori saying how she knows Hajime's favorite animes and games, and then Yue countering, well, she knows Hajime's favorite positions in bed, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff back and forth. Then they're attacked by worms. They kill the worms. They save this bandit. They go to the village, find out about the poison water. They take care of that. They go to the volcano. They clear it. The demons come and attack them in the white dragon with that magic. They escape. Tio goes back with the things to save the village. Then they go. Hajime gets in the submarine. They escape the volcano. yeah, then they go to Mio's homeland, and that they meet up with Tio and everyone, and then they go to the water place. Then they find out they conquering the water dungeon, whatever it's called. I forget the names of the liberator, so that's why I'm not going with that. They go through there, they conquer it. Hajime goes with Kayori. Everyone else is by themselves or together. I don't know, but and yeah, Kayori gets possessed by a by a spirit. Hajime's really pissed. He's like, don't you hurt someone who I care about. Then him and Kayori steals a kiss from Hajime. He doesn't fight it. Like, he fought it with Shia back in when she first kissed him, but he didn't fight Kayori. He was surprised. But he was nice to her. And then she was like, "Can you say that again? Say what? That you cared about me?" Like, I don't remember nothing. And then like kind of like being his student itself. But anyways, so they conquer it. Kayori resolves herself because she was questioning if she should be with them or not because everyone's so strong and she's weak. But after being possessed and seeing how Hajime cares about her, she resolved herself. She's like, "Yeah, this is where I belong." And then it's cut backs to you find out about Air. You should know her. The only female character on a cover of a light novel that is not in Hajime's harem. I'm pretty sure everyone else is in Hajime's harem. And actually, I think the only person that does not have a cover of themselves that's in Hajime's harem is Sensei, and I'll get to that later. But Sensei doesn't have a cover. Anyways, she might have a back. Oh, bikini. So, then Air, she find out she's the traitor. She's killing people, and she kills. You find out she's a necromancer because during their journey, Hajime finds the princess, and like in a convoy, they save her, and she says that there's something wrong with the kingdom and how Sensei has been kidnapped by a nun and is being held hostage. So that's what prompts Hajime to go back to the kingdom. And Hajime goes to rescue a Sensei. Yue, Shia, Kayori are then sent to go to the kingdom. And, that's what happens. They fight, Hajime fights Nor, and it's a really epic battle where Hajime does get injured a lot. Like, that was his toughest fight. Except for when he was fighting in Oscar's Labyrinth. Since that was his pretty much first fight. But after that, like Hajime could solo the Oscar's Labyrinth now if he wanted to. But, now he's finding Nor and she's giving him a run for his money. But the fight's insane. He finds her crystal. He ends up breaking it. And that's how he wins. He rescues Sensei and Tio. Well, Tio rescues Sensei. Originally they were going to go back to the kingdom to safety. But they ended up blowing up the church because Sensei wanted to help Hajime. So that happened. And then you find out how and back in the kingdom you find how Air is she's the traitor, and she's trying to kill all the heroes and make them into her army. And the main thing she wants the hero to be her lover, to her slave lover and all this stuff. And they're just a complicated plan. That scene, again, I'm going with the assumption that you've seen season 2. The scene where, and I didn't say spoilers, so I should have said that in the beginning. Spoilers. But if you're watching this part, you should know if you've seen the other parts. But when they were summoned in like the arena looking thing, and they were given that speech to attack, and then the ball of light to blind everyone. When that happened, Shizu was the only one who was fast enough to react, and she was actually fighting blind. Like, she actually drew her blade and started like countering some stuff because that's just how much training she had. And Shizu is actually a kendo master back in Japan. Like, she took a lot of training, and her family is actually pretty insane. But you find that in the after story. But Shizu, so she has a lot of training, so she was the only one that was able to counter. And the only reason they got Shizu, they didn't really portray it right in the anime. I mean, it was still alright how they portrayed it, but in the anime, that maid, Nia, I think was her name. Like, she was running to Shizu and they're like, "Help me!" And then she stabbed Shizu in the back. That's not how it happened in the light novel. In the light novel, one of the controlled knights was about to strike down Nia, and Shizu went to save her. And when Shizu was standing between Nia and the knight, that's when Nia plunged the knife into her back. So that's how Shizu was captured in the light novel. And pretty much the same thing happened. How Air showed how her magic works, and by killing one of the classmates, Koki, the hero, is trying to use his magic to break the shackles that seal his magic. He's cracking them. Like he's doing all right for himself, I'll say. But he can't get that push. It isn't until where Air is about to not save. Air is about to kill Shizu when, like in the anime, Kaori put a dome. I don't know if it was Kaori or if it was the princess that put the dome over her, but then she put like two little domes. I don't know what you want to call it, spheres, like in front of their faces, overcharged them with mana to make them explode, and which sent Enna or Nia and Enna flying back, and then she used the divine shackles to shackle Nia. I don't know if that happened in the light novel. I don't remember, but I do remember that explosion. And together with the princess and I'm sorry again. Together with the princess, I'm not sick or anything. I just have the coughs. But with the princess, Kaori and the princess with the dome, Kaori was doing a chant to heal everybody at AoE heal. But that Hayame or whatever his name is, he's like, I need help, or like he slashes down one of the knights and then like begs the princess to open it so he could get in because he's wounded. And the princess doesn't know any better. She opens it up to protect him, and it isn't Shizu who says like don't like she's the one that figures out that he's one of the traitors because Aaron said that with the help of somebody, and she figured it out because he's the only one that wasn't in shackles when everyone else was. And she knows he ain't that smart or strong to not be captured. So she figured it out, but it was too late. He pushed the princess out of the way and lunged his sword into Kaori's chest. And, he's doing all this, oh, you love me and all this other stuff. That's why he came here, blah, 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 his BA. And he saw that her lips were moving, so he leaned in close to hear what she was doing, and she was still enchanting. And so he was moving the sword around to kind of kill her, to prevent her from getting it off, but she got the spell off that healed everybody. And she was trying to heal herself too, but she was taking more damage than she could recover from, and that's how she ended up dying. And when she died, everyone was pissed, but everyone got healed. So Koki was able to break free from the shackles. Shizu was able to fight again. I don't think was she shackled? Yeah, she was shackled. But some of the guys were able to break out from their shackles for some reason. I don't remember. I don't think they explained it, but they were able to just break free. In the anime, like one guy was able to break free. He had like that sickle thing, and he was using the sickle to break the others free. And Koki, Kaori, and some of the others were fighting back. And Koki, when he went to go fight, to go save, or to take down Air, not to save Air, but to take down Air to kind of get Kaori, he was stopped by Meld, whatever his name is, the Knight's captain. And he couldn't bring himself to bring him down. Like when he said, please help me. He thought that maybe Meld wasn't completely taken over and maybe he could still be saved, but that was a tactic. And then that's when the poison finally hit Koki, and he spit out blood. And that's when she said, "Oh, she used poison to kind of like not dismember him, but to put him out of commission, basically." And so she went to go turn Kaori into a puppet. And it was then when she was trying to change Kaori into a puppet, that's when Hajime appeared. And the anime didn't really portray this as well, but again, you can't really expect the anime to get everything perfect. But when I was reading this, like, it was so satisfying reading it. Hajime said, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" and everyone froze, and they looked up at Hajime, and in the in the anime in the light novel, it was explained how Hajime was emitting this intimidation that scared everybody. Like the knights, even though they're dead, the knights don't have like a will of their own. They don't sense fear, they don't sense happiness because they're dead. They're just puppets. But even the knights like kind of like took a battle stance, like they were afraid. But it's not because they were afraid. It's because the heir's fear emotion was so strong that it transmitted to her puppets. And but even Shizu, even the good guys, the class, the heroes, even they were afraid of Hajime. And it said that they were so scared that it felt like if he just snapped his fingers, they'll all die. Like he was that in his he was emitting that much pressure, fear. He was intimidating that much. And he saw Kaori, and the moment he saw Kaori, he knew her heart wasn't beating because Hajime has that eye. And when he saw her, he knew she was dead, which he was pissed off. Of course, he didn't say that, but he like just instantly teleported. I don't know if he kicked or punched Hayame, but he sent him flying to the other side of the room with one hit. And that hit was so strong, it broke almost every bone in his body. But he held back enough to make sure it didn't kill him because he wanted him to suffer. So then he held Kaori and kind of healed her. And that's when Tio and Sensei came. And, that's when he handed it to them to take care of, Kaori. And he started walking towards Air. And, she's doing that pleading like she did in the anime. Look at all these guys around you. They're pretty much lifelike. If you want, I can make Kaori's yours and all this other stuff, trying to plead her case. Well, it wasn't working. And that one classmate she killed to demonstrate her powers, like, he thrusted his spear into Hajime's back. And then she got all cocky saying, that's why you never should let your guard down, stuff like that. And then she's like noticed that nothing was happening to him. Well, in the anime, how Hajime deal with that is he got his revolver and shot him in the face. Well, he didn't do that in the light novel. In the light novel, what Hajime has in his arm, Hajime has like this shotgun that's attached to his elbows, and sometimes he uses it to kind of like shoot it so his punches will have more punch behind it, pun intended. But that's what Hajime used. He used the shotgun in his elbow to obliterate that his old classmate. He's already dead, so there's nothing really he could do. And then that's when Meld came to kind of like fight Hajime, and Hajime was like, "She got you too, huh?" And that's when Meld says, "Please." That's all he said was "please," and Hajime said, "I understand." Blam! Shot him in the head, no hesitation. And Hajime thought, when Meld fell over, he could have sworn he saw him smile, but he didn't worry about it. But then that's when he took out the Gatling gun, and everyone's like, "Get down!" And then Hajime just everyone in the all the puppets just torn to shreds. So then Hajime walks up to Air, points the gun to her face, and he's like, "So," and like I say. Basically saying so, like he didn't care why she did it. He didn't want her to tell him why she did it. He didn't care why she did it. He just said so. So what's next? Basically, is what Hajime said, which kind of irritated her because she's over here with all this whole plan, and Hajime just came in and undid it in like a minute. And Hajime even tells her like, "I don't care why you did this or whatever." Points his gun at her face, and he's about to kill her, but then a fire. Like in the anime, a fire, and this was actually animated pretty epically, but the fireball came, and Hajime shot it at the core to destroy it, and that's when Hayame comes in like, and that's how I picture it in my head how he said it, and then Hajime just kicked him in the face, like a hammer kick, drop kick. What do you call it when you? All right, so like here's the body, right? You kick up like that, but when you bring your foot up and kick down, what's that? A down kick? That's what Hajime did, and then he grabbed him by the throat and held him up, Batman style. When he's interrogating someone over a building, he held him up with one hand, and you're like, the one is for you, Kaori will be mine. And he's saying all this stuff, like you can't take responsibility, blah blah blah. That's all your fault, because you're a BA. MF, and he didn't really say that, but that's just in my head. And um, like he at this point, pretty much every bone in Hayame's body was broken. That he was passing out and waking up because of the pain that he was that was coursing through his body. But at the end, Hajime kicked him or punched him. Either I think both, but sent him over the wall into the oncoming crowd of monsters, and basically let the monsters deal with him. And then he went back to deal with air, but then this big blast from the dragon came, and Hajime shot it, and then that demon lord general, whatever he was, came. Oh, and I skipped that part completely, but the general Yue and Shia fought the general and his goons. Shia fought that demon that Hajime killed in Oscar's Labyrinth when he saved Kayori and them. Her husband or her lover, I forgot what it was, but Shia fought him before he died. He called Shia a monster, and Shia was happy. She was like, "So I'm finally a monster, just like Hajime." Like she was happy to be called a monster. And Yue and the demon general, they had a pretty epic fight where a whole bunch they were distorting space and time. The fight was so epic, and Yue used her vampire powers, and it was really good. But anyways, Yue couldn't kill him, so he escaped. And then so that's when he met with Hajime back at the thing, and then he's taunting like, well, I'll use this kingdom as hostage and all this other stuff. Hajime brings out like that teardrop looking glass thing, and it didn't explain that in the anime. But what that was Hajime built a satellite to like take in the sun ray lights and then turn it into energy, and then that's what that red thing was like a concentrated beam of light that just tore through the kingdom, killing enemies and humans alike. Just tore through a path. I don't think too many humans died, if any. I don't remember in the light novel if it said it, but it just it turned the millions of demons into nothing. And then Hajime said, get out, I got other stuff to worry about, and if you get in my way, I'll kill you. Which kind of was a bluff on Hajime's part, because what actually happened, that satellite was a prototype, and it actually broke after Hajime did it that first time. So when Hajime said, get out of my sight, it's pretty much because it broke, so he couldn't use it again even if he wanted to. Which thankfully it worked, and the demon general left, and that's when Yue came with Shia, saying if he's still around so they could kick his butt. And Yue, I think she noticed that something was wrong with Hajime, and she's like, what's wrong? And Hajime, he only said one thing to Yue. Saw Kayori laying there dead, and so did Shia. They kind of knew what happened, and the only thing Hajime told Yue was please. He begged her, kind of, in a way. I don't want to say begged because it kind of sounds pathetic, but it's not really. Like he said, Yue, please, and she knew exactly what he meant. Like, please save her. Like he wanted her to be saved. So Yue nodded. They went, and then they went to the hill so Shia and Yue could get the magic from the labyrinth that was under the church. And so that's what Hajime, Shizu was still distraught about what happened to Kayori. Hajime was basically reassuring her, hey, we'll get Kayori back, don't worry. She's like, can I trust you, and all this other stuff. She's like on the verge of tears. He's like, yes, and all this other stuff. And then Hajime left with the girls to the church. And unlike in the anime, I don't believe the sensei went with them. I think the sensei stayed behind and actually took care of the students. And, like you saw in the anime, they came back about 3 days later. And Kayori was now in a new body. She was in, was it Nor? I forgot her name already, but the nun. She came back in her body. And, at first, Shizu kind of recognized her, not right away, but after a while. And like, are you Kayori? And like, yep, I'm your best friend, Kayori. And then she started crying. And yeah. And then everything pretty much proceeded the same, where they explained why Kayori's in a new body. It's not that her old body was destroyed, it's just that she wanted new power, because she realized she was weak as she was, so she wanted to be stronger. So they put her in Nor's body. I think that was her name, Nor. And now Kayori has all the powers Nor had. So I don't. If you saw the anime, that's Kaori. If you saw the anime, you know how Nor has she used the double swords. Well, now Kaori can use the double swords as well. And anything Nor could use, Kaori can now use. Like the same skills. It's just that she needs to get used to using them. Like she couldn't even fly. That's why it took her so long to get with everyone else when they fell in from the sky. Kaori was trying to learn how to fly, and she just fell straight down because she couldn't land. So that was kind of funny. But yeah. And everything else pretty much the same happened. They had lunch, and then the students, Koki and Shizu wanted to travel with Hajime. Hajime said no at first, but then agreed with it. The princess is coming with them because she needs to get like requests from help from the Empire or something like that. And it was on their way, so they were going to drop off the princess. And what the anime doesn't show is that there are actually two remaining royals now from that kingdom. The princess and her younger brother, who was going to be the next king. And the princess's younger brother actually had a crush on Kaori, so he hated Hajime for taking Kaori away from him. But yeah, you never saw her younger brother, the princess's younger brother. But she has a younger brother, and he's going to be the next king because everyone else is dead. The dad's dead, and I'm pretty sure the queen's dead. I don't know what happened to the queen. They never said it, but... And the next in line is the younger brother, even though she's older, but... Anyways, that's just political stuff that I don't really know much about. So yeah, that's pretty much how it ends. And you know the conversation where Hajime has with Sensei at the church, the destroyed church, where Hajime said, "Cry on my back." That conversation happened in the castle, and Hajime's helping restoring the castle. You know, getting the barriers back up. You know, they're taking some R&R and resting before they leave. And at the end, you know, they get this is how it ends in the, not in technically in volume 6, but it could be like at the end of volume 6, beginning of volume 7. But let me do this. Hajime has a new right now because he has, besides his harem, he has the princess, he has Koki, he has Shizu, he has Koki's best friend, the strong guy, the muscle guy, and Suzu, is that her name? The girl with the barrier, and her as well. So Hajime brings out his new vehicle, and it's a blimp. Yep, that's how they leave. It's a blimp. So that's going to be the end of this review, and next time we're going to pick up on chapter 7. After this, like pretty much all the serious stuff doesn't really happen as much. Some serious stuff does happen, but again, not as much. And I'll explain to it later. Like after the whole kingdom arc, after season 2, pretty much everything is pretty much just comedy. And there's a scene I want to show you from 9. But we'll get to that later. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So that's what happened, and that's the end of season 2. So after this, it's like really major spoilers. So peace. I love you. Bye. Please like, sub, and leave a comment. Bye-bye.